So, did you have an unexpected idea, not coming from customer feedback, but from intuition? Please raise your hand. Don't be shy, please. Okay, quite a lot of people. And raise your hand again if you could execute this idea on your current company. None? Okay. And okay, 3, nice. And now, could you execute this idea with high success, like creating big impact on your customers, changing their lives? Raise your hand. Okay, we'll talk to you later. So my name is Jonathan. I'm design lead at Factorial. And today, I come to talk about beyond customer feedback and the art of innovation. Just a small parenthesis, low down your expectations. I'm not a Steve Jobs, but at least I will try to share our experience at Factorial and some of the stories that we have today. But first of all, what's innovation? So innovation is the process to create new products and services that change people's lives. So today, nobody would think to go to the river and grab water, right? Actually, Romans, more than 2,700 years ago, invented aqueducts to transport water from one point to another. But today, we are not even thinking about aqueducts. We just open a tap and we get water. Innovation is running faster and faster over time. And 40 years ago, we had the first mobile. Today, the current smartphones look completely different, even without buttons, just full screen devices, which Apple invented some years ago. By the way, another quick parenthesis for those Apple fans that I know probably they are here, USB-C is not innovation, but just in case. And why it's important, innovation? So only in Spain in 2022, more than 25,000 companies died, need to close. They did do many reasons. The first one, they ran out of cash and resources. The second one, the competitors' landscape was too much for them and they couldn't survive. And the third one, there was a change in the customer requirements and customer needs. The last two of them are part of innovation. So many of you might know all of these companies. At one day, they were at the top of the sector, a reference. Today, none of the companies exist, companies like BlackBerry, Yahoo, or Compaq. But let me show you a specific use case that we have in our sector. So Envision, maybe some of here might not know it. I'm quite old in product. But basically, Envision started in 2011, creating a web app tool to help product teams validate their solutions by creating prototypes. And they become a reference as in the product industry. Actually, almost every product team was using Envision. They got pretty decent numbers with more than 9 million users, and most of the top companies of the world were using Envision. However, in 2016, Figma appeared. Figma revolutionized completely the way that we understand today the way to create product, building a tool that nobody was asking for, a way to collaborate between designers, engineers, all people inside product organizations. Not even that. They integrated many tools in just one tool. So you just need to use Figma. Of course, Envision saw this as a threat, and they created Envision Studio. However, it was too late. This was 2017. Figma already realized a lot of features, and beyond the years, they were always one step behind Figma. So they couldn't even get to that point. Today, Envision announced that they are closing their business because they couldn't survive and keep up to innovation in this sector. But who can run innovation? So we tend to think that innovation happens only in big corporates with super talented people. But actually, innovation starts from the very beginning. It starts from every one of you. Like everyone here can get an idea and suddenly change people's lives. But enough presentation. Let's talk about Factorial. So I will share now a little bit of the stories and learnings that we have during these years inside Factorial. So we started in 2016, and we started with 3 things. One of them, we started with a pain. The pain on how companies manage their employees, their main resource inside companies. The second one, there was a trend in the market. So they started to appear more and more tools focused on solving company processes, tools like Salesforce or HubSpot. Even in an industry, in the employee management, it started to appear the first tools in the United States, in case of benefits. But these two things are not enough to build a company. So we had two ideas, not only one. So the first one, building an employee-first solution. So we wanted to build, managing people can be really complex sometimes, taking into account all the legal and compliance things. So we wanted to create a prescriptive tool, a simple tool that didn't require any training to start using it. The second one, that it was design-centric. So not only that solves the problem, but actually that combines functionality with art. So it's beautiful. The third one, we wanted to remove everything related to manual processes. We want to automate it, reducing waste and improving productivity. And last but not least, we didn't not only want to remove manual processes, we wanted to provide data, insights, to help companies make better decisions. The second idea, horizontality over verticality. So while almost every company was building one specific software for one specific solution in one specific market, and as soon as they reach their quota, they start going to enterprise, we decided to do completely the opposite of these things. So we went all in one product, multiple problems, 9 markets, but one solution. And actually, now today that we have more than 10,000 companies, we keep building software for SMB companies. So with this introduction, we started in 2016. And we started building employee benefits. Probably many of you don't know, but we started here. So providing companies and users a way to medical insurance, ticket restaurant, ticket transport, all these kind of things. But over the years, we figured out that on one side, the pain was not big enough for most of the companies. And the second one, in terms of business, the margins were pretty low. In the next years, we started to discover more and more pains. And one of that pain is like paying employees. So we discovered that 100% of the companies of the world need to pay their employees every day. And that this process is super manual, with a lot of paperwork and a lot of errors at the same time. So well, in 2018, we decided to create a combination between software and service to help companies manage all this process. In this case, the pain was there. The pain was super big, and it was a critical opportunity. However, there was a lot of complexity, and our current approach wasn't scalable enough. During the next years, we started creating more and more solutions in terms of solving this concept of employee management. At the point that in 2020, we had a pretty solid solution to solve all these pains related to HR. And we keep on that direction, investing in the incoming years. So in 2022, we didn't not only want to stay in employee data and time management, but actually a way to help companies acquire talent and develop this talent inside their companies. Today, we want to go even beyond. So not only building an HR platform, we want to build a financial platform. So connecting the payroll of the companies with the cost and the cash, probably the most important resources to companies to survive at the end. So what did we learn so far during these years? The first, and the topic of our conversation, going beyond customer feedback. Some weeks ago, I was talking with a customer for almost a whole day, 8 hours. And this was me. Literally, this was me. So they have a huge list of requirements and pains and problems. But suddenly, during our conversation, the person that I have in front of me, which was an HR manager, told me, yeah, Jonathan, we spend 3 hours a day reviewing all the time of our employees. And I was like, what? You said 3 hours? No, actually, we spent 5 some days ago, but we figured out that we could optimize it. So the great thing about this is that they didn't figure it out, that spending 5 hours a day reviewing the time of their employee was a problem. They just figured out that it was their job, their regular thing. And actually, a story that we found out in Factorial, in 2011, we figured out that almost 100% of our companies, of our customers, were white-collar companies. So basically, offices and technology companies. And we ask ourselves, why aren't we not getting any blue-collar companies? So retail, hospitality, industry. Well, we figured out this. So for them, it wasn't not only important to manage payroll, to understand how much time their employees were working, but actually to plan the time of their employees, which none of the white-collar companies needs to do. So what we did? Well, we built a tool for that. We built a tool to help companies plan their work of their employees. But we didn't stay there. So we combine it with the rest of the solutions that we have in our software. So not only you could understand when your employees have to work, but actually, did they work that amount of hours, or did they work less? And actually connect it to time off and absences. So you could know that employee is working that day, or can I plan that day specifically? But we are even going beyond. So we are connected further with payroll. So at the end, when companies pay their employees, they pay mostly based on time. And they need to pay extra hours, night shifts, and their regular contract hours. So we are trying to connect all in one. One of the key learnings that we had this year is that in order to thrive innovation, it's critical that the teams learn and understand the end-to-end of the problem that they are trying to solve. And in this particular case, the structure and the way that we build the teams is critical for this to happen. With not having the right structure, teams can focus on really tiny details, but not in the entire problem, solving the entire picture, like I explained you before. The second learning, embrace failure. So according to a Harvard Business School study, about 90% of product innovation fail. I can tell you this is true. So basically, in my 3-year experience at Growth, leading growth teams, we were able to ship 231 projects, and only 14 of them were a high success. One of these projects was back in the pandemic. So in 2020, when the pandemic came, everyone started to go back home and work from them, some people at least. However, under the recovery of the situation during the pandemic, we started to come back to work. But what did it happen? At least this is what happened at Factorial. So we grew that much during the pandemic that when we come back, this was more or less the situation in the office. So we didn't have enough space for everyone. And actually, there was a new trend in the market. So there was starting to appear this concept of hybrid work. So employees could work part of the time in the office and part of the time from their homes. So we had a problem in Factorial. And why we decided, okay, let's build another tool. In this case, we decided to build an external tool, not inside Factorial. Why? Because it was easy to validate, to just build something that helped us validate if this was not only a problem for us inside Factorial, but for the rest of the companies of the world. So we built a tool to help companies manage the space of their offices, to manage meeting rooms, but actually hot desks, this concept of people that can come from time to time to the office. So you don't need to have a big space for everything. And actually, it turned out a success. So we figured out that more than 2,000 companies started to use Desky. And what we decided next, similar to my previous story, we decided to build it inside Factorial. So to connect all the rest of the problems inside Factorial so we could provide more value. And here comes our third learning. Execution is key. So ideas without proper execution are worth nothing. And in this particular case, we failed on the execution. Why? Basically, we failed to our initial principles, to our initial idea. While the first concept of Desky was super intuitive, was prescriptive, was design-centric, the way that we implemented inside Factorial, the space management tool, wasn't like that. It was difficult to understand. It wasn't even mobile first, which was where most of the users start to book their meeting rooms and the hot desks. So we failed. And another learning that we have during this journey is that you need to learn when to kill your ideas. So at the end, it doesn't matter how much time did you invest in building a certain idea. Because the only thing that matters is what can you do next? What is the future? What's the next thing that you can do? At the end, ideas are cheap, but execution is not. It's super expensive. The fourth learning, and the last one, look at your market. So when we started in 2016, this was our horizon. So we had nothing to lose, but a lot to win. Today, it looks more like this. So with more than 10,000 customers, you get a lot of requirements, of pains, of compliance all the time. And it's really easy to get lost in all this noise and forget what's your mission. Why are we here? So to give it better numbers to understand this, today in Factorial we have more than 10,000 customers in 9 markets, actually more than 9 markets. But if we look only at the Spain, we have more than 200,000 customers that are our ICP, or target for Factorial. If we look at the rest of the world, we have millions. So where's the opportunity? Actually, is there. But we can't forget about our customers. So what we do to boost this inside Factorial? So we created the concept of Factorial, most common known as hackathon. So it is the idea to bring these ideas to life, these crazy ideas, in just a short period of time, these concepts to life. So we do this at Factorial, not only in product, by the way. We do it with the whole company. So people from sales, customer experience, finance, marketing can be part of this Factorial. And this is one of the ideas that we built that probably you are super familiar with. So payroll is super difficult to understand. No one understands their payslip. What are all these concepts that you have there? It's impossible to understand what's a plus, what deducts, how many I'm paying. It's impossible. So we created a better way to figure out all this information inside your product. So employees could understand this payslip. And we are talking about the market, but I didn't talk about technology. But what about AI? What about these disruptive technologies that appear suddenly from nowhere? So they are another opportunity to create this innovation. And AI is there, like internet many years ago. So in Factorial, we started thinking, what can we create with AI to go even beyond and help our customers manage their employees? So I would like to share a little bit of what we are doing today. So many of these things wouldn't be impossible with new technology like AI. And all these things started with crazy ideas. However, many of them today are live in Factorial. And today we are even beyond, getting more new ideas on what we can build next. So we need to embrace new technology. It's probably one of the best resources to run innovation. And just to start concluding about this. So as I talk about the early beginning, so innovation can come from everyone. It doesn't matter to come from super talented people or big corporates. Just think about these companies, Tesla, Microsoft, or Apple. They were nothing when they started. Just a crazy idea and a group of people super motivated and with a clear vision to execute these ideas. And that's what they did. And they become reference today. However, it could happen the same that for Yahoo or for other companies that we saw before. So we need to understand that everybody can drive innovation. Actually, everybody of you can drive this innovation because we have a whole horizon of possibilities. The world that we know today is going to change tomorrow. It's going to change in 100 years, and it's going faster and faster over the years. And actually, we are looking for people in Factorial, in product design, in product manager, in engineering, to drive and help us drive this innovation. So please, if you're interested, take a look to these offers or just text me in LinkedIn. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you very much. So now we have 10 minutes for questions. Anybody?
Hi. You mentioned, just as you said, right? So ideas, it's easy to, not it's easy, but at least you can throw 1,000 of ideas, but execution is costly. So I just wonder whether it's Factorial, do you have a process, established process on how people present the ideas, what is mandatory to include in it, and basically how they get approved to make sure that you actually get the ones that are more likely to achieve success? Is there like a process?
I would say there's no process. I would say this is probably one of the most complex things because when you, obviously a business runs, because you run a business and you run money, so you need to get people paying to it. And it's really easy to focus just on tactical ideas, on what our customers are telling to us, and just prioritize us. But what we try to do first is we give full ownership to the teams to make this decision, to drive, understand these ideas that could run business. And we tend to focus them not only on thinking about the customers and what our customers are saying, but look at the horizon. What other ideas can you have? And the problem about this, this is what I say, there's no framework, is because it's impossible to measure. There's no way that you can see, you can estimate some numbers, but it's impossible that you get an accurate number of saying, yeah, if we build this, we will get all this information. Because actually innovation is, it's just a triple. It's super difficult to understand if it's going to work or not. Actually, the margin of failure is super huge. So it's just trying to incentivize this. And I would say what we do is we try to balance the roadmap between, okay, tactical ideas, strategic ideas, and then quality, because we want to actually ensure that the quality of the product is good enough.
Yeah, so basically you have visionary people who drive the process forward. It's more within, it's more like based on intuition.
Yes.
You may have some numbers to back it up, but it's not that you are driven by those numbers. Okay.
I would say these ideas is super difficult to drive these numbers, and this is the constant conversation most of the times of the product manager and the designer. The designer comes with a crazy idea, oh, we should build this. And the manager says, and what's the impact? Yeah, because we have all these requirements from the customers and we need to build them. And this is I think this is the balance, because if you only have these crazy ideas all the time, I mean, you will just burn money, and probably not create new business. So I think it's the way of this discussion to create a balance.
The problem that I was facing, so we may have different ideas and different teams to implement, but let's say if you need resources from these other teams that need to work on your product to make it a success, then you do need a framework kind of to persuade the PMO or whoever to give you those resources. So that's what I was trying to look at.
Well, what we do at Factorial, we have two levels. So we have the teams, and then we have the domain, which is a group of teams. So this happens to us all the time. So we have opportunities that need a lot of resources or different teams to happen. And it's, for me, my role and the role of my companions in the domain to push these ideas and to connect the teams. So we can prioritize these ideas and multiple, not just one designer, 2 engineers. No, maybe we need 6 engineers, and maybe we need 3 designers. So we try to prioritize these ideas and just connect them with all the teams.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, thanks for the speech. Okay. You asked it first about ideas that come from the gut feelings. And I'm interested in how many gut feeling ideas you've implemented in your product.
Myself?
Yes.
Desky was one of them. And actually, when we started, because I have been 6 years in Factorial, So almost none of the features that we have today were there when we started. When I came to Factorial, we just had time off and employee data and documents. And I was able to create features like time tracking, the recruitment feature that we have, actually a way for companies to create their landing pages. Desky was another one. So I had a lot of opportunities, actually.
And what helped you to approve this idea, to manage it, and to make it into real product? What helped you to explain this idea that it came from gut feeling?
So I always try to find what are the arguments that I can bring to look at the rest of the world and say, I think this is a driver because, look, many companies are hiring today. Look at the LinkedIn numbers. These are the offers. I'm putting an example of the recruitment, for example. So how many offers people are looking today? How it's the process? So I interview some customers and try to understand the process. Look at the process. It's super complex. It takes a lot of time. So is there an opportunity? I try to find these arguments that, as I said before, is super difficult to measure, but you can create a storytelling in order to, okay, this is an opportunity probably. I don't know, maybe it doesn't work. I mean, I have shared these things, but we failed many times to build other products that today we are not building anymore. Like space management is one of these products, or benefits, or payroll services. So we have a lot of these failures, and it's part of, you need to build many to just find one.
So less about data, more about storytelling.
Well, how do you measure to build a recruitment system? I mean, you can get the numbers of the how many businesses there are in the world and global numbers, but what is it? I mean, when you can customers, you can say, okay, these are the pains of my customers, and they are churning or they are not converting into customers, and this is super measurable. But when you look at something that you don't have anything, like recruitment, when we started doing recruitment, we didn't have anything. We just had time and documents. So how do you know that building a recruitment software will work? So you can look at the market and how other competitors are doing and what are the numbers, and you can get an estimation, but it's impossible to tangibilize something that can be accurate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't know what time is it. What time is it? So one more question, maybe, and afterwards you can. I don't know who was first. Afterwards you can.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks. You started with beyond customer feedback, and then you showed that basically from 2016 to 1920, you went like, you are serving the same customer, but with more features, more products. So you have like Factorial installed in the company, and then people are using it. So maybe innovation in your term, like concluding your presentation, more about, we are learning about our customers and we are black box for them, so they tell their pains for us and we deliver them solution. So my question basically is about when you did like desk management, the people who were using desk management are not the same people that were using Factorial, or the same?
So I would say that we started focusing only in the HR manager, but our customer today is the whole company. So we try to understand what are the problems in the different areas of the company, and not all of the products are focusing on HR. So Desky was more focused for office managers. Or actually sometimes the CEO is the person who manages the space, or there's an administrator or some person that do these things. So we basically try to always go, not just stay on the feedback that we get to the customer, but we try always to go to their offices and understand why they work, and why do you have this space here? It doesn't work, why? And these learnings is what drives these ideas that then start to pop up, and we find these connectors.
But yeah, I'm curious why it hadn't worked, like when it built to Factorial, and it worked before that.
It didn't work because so we had people who were customers in Factorial using Desky.
Yeah.
And once we built it inside the space management, inside Factorial, they didn't want to use the feature that we built inside Factorial. Even it connected with all their suite and their employees. They had their employees they didn't to create, but they say, no, I prefer to use Desky. It's a lot better. I have mobile, it's super intuitive, it's easy to find the whole place of my office, employees know where to go. And in your current solution, it's a list of things that I don't know how they work, and my employees don't know, and they try to book from mobile, and nothing is clickable. That's what happened. You're welcome.
Thank you.